Now I really have to ask for your patience because I have to do an obligatory attack on British empiricism. And I realize that I'm not going to destroy British empiricism in 10 or 15 minutes, but I have to try. I've been trying to destroy American pragmatism for these many years, and I haven't quite succeeded there, but I have to try. One of the biggest problems in understanding these operations is empiricism, or pragmatism, the notion that the sense data are everything. And I'm trying to say, no, they're not. Locke, of course, is a servant of the Venetian party. These are the people who helped to bring you the Titus Oaths. In other words, Locke and Shaftesbury, above all, are the people who bring you this popish plot. And about 30 to 40 people are executed. In other words, more people get killed in this than get killed in the gunpowder, I think. And Locke, of course, is working for this Whig cabal, right? Clifford, Arlington, Buckingham, Ashley Cooper, Lauderdale, right? The names are written across the map of the U.S. even today, right? From Arlington, Virginia to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And again, the method is solid. Now, I have written an essay, presented an essay a couple of years ago in Tunisia at the Colloque de Carthage, the philosophical colloquium of Carthage, which was dedicated to Locke, Descartes, and Leibniz. And I wrote about the fact that the essay on human understanding by John Locke, his main work, is actually copied from Paulo Sartre. He is a plagiarist. He simply takes the main ideas and then expands. So that Locke is not an original philosopher, but a thinly veiled plagiarist of a book called, a small book called The Art of Thinking Well, Arte di Ben Pensare, of Paulo Sartre of Venice. Now this is, I think, an important fact, because it shows that the founder of English empiricism, Locke, is really working off a Venetian original. And you'll see this pattern again and again. People that you think are famous English writers are actually plagiarists of a Venetian original. Now what I want to argue is that concepts are what matters. Notice that the kind introduction I had said, we're here for vital concepts. Not for a load of information, because that you can't remember, but concepts that count. And the concepts are something separate from the information, and they're important. In other words, I didn't want to say no to William of Ockham back in the 14th century. William of Ockham, already in those days, the Venetians had people in England. The way you can tell this is at the beginning of the 100 Years' War. So we're in the 1340s. This is a guy who says, yes, the King of England can tax churches to finance the 100 Years' War. Why? Because the Venetians wanted England to attack France, so France would not be able to attack Venice. And at the time, the Venetians were locked in the final struggle with the Genoese. So this is a guy who is serving Venetian interests. I would call him a Venetian operative at that time. Now, Occam's razor. What is Occam's razor? Well, entia non sunt multiplicanda praeter necessitata. You should not multiply the number of entities beyond necessary. What he means by this is concepts are no good. Concepts are not real. Concepts do not exist. Because he would say, well, the concept is another entity that we don't need. And I'm here to tell you, yeah, you do need it. And you do need the concept, and you do need the pattern. And that is above the individual cases. So, the Venetian impact on European philosophy is simply immense and all bad. Now, what I would recommend is Plato. And here's Plato's cave, and you know the story, right? The people are chained there. They have to spend their time looking at the shadows on the rock face in front of them. There's a fire, there's some flickering sunlight. There's some people who come and show effigies and project shadows on the wall. What is this predicament? It is, of course, our own. We spend all our time looking at flickering shadows on television screens, movie theater screens, computer screens. We're the prisoners, in many ways, of flickering shadows. And if we think of the modern age, the shadow that flickers most frequently is the 9/11 nightmare. And this is an attempt to imprison the spirit of humanity inside a monstrous myth and fabrication. It is menticide, because it basically says we're going to kill the human mind with this kind of a method. And I urge you to fight back. Now, the way you fight back, this is Plato again. It's all from the 7th book of the Republic, that images, these are the sense data, right? This is simply the facts, the sense data, opinions, you might call them. Above the level of simple empiricism and facts and reflections, there's a level of understanding, right? Verstand, which is superior. It's mathematical thinking, and it's better. But beyond that is reason, hopefully dialectical reason, Vernunft. This is better. And the empiricist remains down here. The Cartesian or the Kantian can get up here. But we want to be together with Plato, Leibniz, and the other really great ones. We want to join the camp of reason, because reason allows us to provide a conceptual overview of all this stuff. Now, conceptual overview, what? Question was here before, the lady here in front. What am I talking about? Patsies, moles, and technicians. This is the idea. This is the conceptual framework that I propose to study terrorism in general, and we can see it's already implicit in the gunpowder plot. And that would be the Patsies, the dupes, useful idiots, fanatics, police agents, double agents, provocateurs, Oswald, Guy Fawkes, people like this. They're the Patsies. The moles are the people in the government who are actually working for a private network or private cause. The Cecils, or the people in the U.S. government that I'll show you as at least suspected moles, or people who have been mentioned as moles. I know I have to watch out in this country. And then we have the technicians, like the professional killers. And these would be your CIA, Special Forces, old boys, your military security experts, private military firms, and the rest. I would stress the existence of a privatized command center, not in the government, but most likely privatized. Government resources are accessed by way of drills and exercises. We'll show you that too. And it all operates in the brainwashed world of the controlled corporate media, or in your case, the brainwashed world of the BBC and its competition. And I would urge you to look at this, because this allows you to take empirical data, information as it's called, which is meaningless, and make it into something that's going to make sense by putting it into a conceptual overview. And again, this is available in my book. Now, the Patsies are, of course, the fallers. And our dear friend Guy Fawkes is the original one. There's Guy Fawkes, Lee Harvey Oswald, typical Patsy, low-grade subject. He's an agent of the FBI, an agent of the CIA, and an agent of the U.S. Customs, all combined. But he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't think he's going to get killed. Therefore, he said, and you heard him say it, I'm just a patsy. Exactly right. This, the film of Oswald saying it. The other problem with the patsy is, can they really do what they're accused of having done? In other words, do they have the physical, technical capability to carry out the crimes attributed to them? Now, with this Mondesher carbine from the First World War with a kind of a toy gun sight on it, he's supposed to have gotten off to 3 shots to kill Kennedy, and of course there were 7 or 8 shots, and he's supposed to do that in the available time with an old-fashioned bolt action. It's absurd. He could be the devil incarnate. He can't kill somebody in that situation with that kind of weapon. And the other thing about Patsies is they are expendable. You can be a double agent, and he was, up to a point. He didn't shoot anybody. As he said, he never killed anybody. But he had to be liquidated because he knew much too much. Again, similar to the ones we've seen. Zacarias Moussaoui, the so-called 20th hijacker, his own lawyer said that he was a delusional schizophrenic. And I believe he was. He was processed here through London, through Finsbury, Brixton, and these areas. How about Richard Reid, the shoe bomber? That's why in the U.S. you still can't wear your shoes onto the aircraft. A mentally disturbed, homeless man found sleeping in one of those 2 mosques, like the schools for patsies here in London, and then sent on a suicide mission, but of course the idea was that he was such a basket case that the poor guy could never succeed, and he's now serving life in prison in one of these American fortresses. And again, is this the face of a force that's going to conquer the world, or is it the face of a hapless victim, which I would suggest?